passion igniting the light through highs and lows. We'll stand as one, a legacy, a tale that's just begun. Together we roar, together we grow.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rise of Grind Morning Show. Looks like we got some new names in the chat, but hey, you stumbled upon us today, so do us a quick favor, like, share, and subscribe this stream this morning. Get it out to your Lions family, and thank you for joining your other Lions family this morning. Rockhound Detroit Lions Rise and Grind Morning Show. Today is Unbiased Reviews. We're going to be doing a little bit of quarterback and running back conversation. Where do they fit in the NFC North? Where do they rank in the NFC North? We're going to get into some news today. Again, Parsons is making headlines once again, not in a good way. So we'll discuss Micah Parsons probably to kick it off this morning. But welcome into the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Let's get it rolling. We'll be back here in 15 seconds. What's happening, Eric?
Good morning, Will. How's it going today?
Doing good. No sound on the trailer. What do you mean? What happened?
Uh-oh.
I could fix that real quick. That means we're going to have to play it again to test it. You know how this goes. Of course, it's not going to let me do it, is it? Anyway, do your little intro, man. Whatever you want to talk about.
Hey. So what did everybody do for Labor Day? Did you walk the bridge? What'd you do? Where'd you go? I put together a brand new cabinet for my rock collection. Sounds like a lot of fun, right? It was not a lot of fun.
Walk what bridge? Mackinac?
Yeah, the Mackinac Bridge. Everybody goes and walks over it on Labor Day.
I know what Trace was doing. She was out chasing the
Aurora last night?
The Aurora last night. The lights, yeah, the northern lights.
From what I saw, it wasn't all that spectacular last night, so I'm glad I didn't get out of bed.
Is it clear out there by you, though?
Yeah, it was. And from everybody's pictures that I saw, it wasn't the great show that they were thinking. So maybe tonight I'll stay up and get some.
I have yet to see it in Michigan.
See, I don't have to do anything. I just go out in my backyard. I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, I want to go over to across the pond, man, or up northeast there, Nova Scotia, or
go up to Hudson Bay.
Hudson Bay, even, yeah. But I want to go. When I go over to like the Netherlands and that, man, I'm hoping I get to see something. See something cool. All right, let me get this thing playing again. I want to get it fixed before we get rolling today. I don't know why it's not letting me adjust the audio unless I've got it open. Yeah, it should be. I don't know why someone's saying that there's no audio. You're telling me this one doesn't have audio? All right, so did you have audio that time? You should have the first time. That doesn't make any sense. It's literally set up the same way as everything else. There is no audio. All right, well, I'll work on it later. Sorry about that. So we didn't have audio yesterday then.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
There you go. All right, now it's fixed, right? Should be good. Thanks for indulging me and let's help me get that fixed. Sometimes I got to do stuff with you guys on here. Otherwise, I got to go do a fake broadcast. And sometimes
now it's working.
Takes forever.
Yeah, I just listened to it. Now it's working.
All right. So anyway, let's get into Micah Parsons, because the Green Bay Packers did they royally F themselves? And look, I know a lot about backs simply because I've got a really bad back. I am fused all over the place, man. L4, 5, S1, my neck, C5, 6, 7. So it's something that I'm used to. I just had injections done. I just had this. It's same exact epidural injection that they're talking that Micah Parsons has to get. So I am very well versed on what this stuff is and what it does to you, what you can and can't do with it. But my biggest question is, I can't believe that they're giving this dude steroids, cortisone, prednisone, or dexamethasone, whatever I used to get dexamethasone in my joints. So it's a steroid. And if you've ever been on steroids at all, if you've ever been on prednisone for anything, couple things happen. You retain a ton of water. Like, you'll see me on some shows where I blow up like a balloon. Like, I look like I just gained 20 pounds overnight. That means I've been on steroids for a few days. I just hold a ton of water. But it will amplify the way that you play. It speeds up your heart rate. It helps with oxygenation in the blood. It's, in my opinion, it's a level of doping. I don't think that you should be allowed to play in these games if you're taking steroids. I mean, if you've banned everything else, I get anti-inflammatories. He's on a 5-day course of prednisone. Anti-inflammatories, the other, anti-inflammatories like NSAIDs, that stuff I understand. Getting a shot of, what's the other one that they use all the time? It's an anti-inflammatory. They'll give it to you in the hospital before they give you any opiates or anything like that. What the heck is it called?
I don't know.
Anyway, but that's what they usually get is some sort of an anti-inflammatory. I'm surprised when we're reading this morning that he's on any form of prednisone or any form of steroid. But here's the story. So Parsons has been out this year supposedly with a back issue, right? I mean, we all knew that. A lot of us expected that this was a non-issue, meaning he was probably just holding out for the contract just like, other people do, right? And what is surfaced, and this blows my mind, how would you not know that he didn't have a back issue before trading for him? Everybody knew that there was a back issue going on. Maybe we didn't know it was L4, L5, but then you bring him in for a physical. Are you telling me that you didn't get his medical reports? You didn't get the trove of medical data, then have your team doctors go through it and see where he's had work done on his lower lumbar? I'll tell you right now, Levi Onwuzurike, he's an example of what happens with the lower back problem and how it can blow up in your face. This could blow up in the Packers' face. And I'm not saying that I want anything to happen to Parsons. Like, that's not what this is all about. This could royally screw them, which I'm not mad at. I would hate to see, hey, good morning, Mr. Mahdi. I would hate to see something happen like this where, Parsons has to deal with this the rest of his life, which he's gonna have to. Hopefully he doesn't have to get any sort of a fusion, but let's break it down. So the L4-5, man, that is critical to the way your body moves. Like, I can't even play golf. I haven't been able to play golf in 5+ years because I don't move the same. I'm so rigid and so stiff. These guys are in pinnacle shape though. And it's much different for them. Your back relies on your abs, right? Your abs, your hips, everything that's in line. Your back really relies on your abs. These guys have really good abs, right? I don't have the abs that I used to anymore. So my back doesn't feel the greatest every day. That's why I got this new chair, because I couldn't sit in that other chair. And this thing is so comfortable. It's going to help a ton with how I feel each and every day. But he's reportedly dealing with this L4-5 facet joint sprain. Now, I've never heard of a doctor call it a sprain. Ever. Right? Usually when you're working with a facet joint issue, you've got narrowing of the foramen, and the facet joints, they can get inflamed. But I've never heard of a sprain. Does he have a leaky disc? Right? I mean, is it, I guess, is that disc touching the spinal cord? Is it, has it leaked out of the thecal sac? I mean, that's all the things that happened with me. I went from being normal, right? Had a back injury, but I felt okay. I had some pain and some other things going on. And then I just got up off the couch one day and then I couldn't move. And next thing you know, my whole leg just turned volcano hot and was all locked up. Like I was locked up immediately. And it got so bad I couldn't even pee. Like, because that nerve, all the nerves that deal with that area innervate with your bladder and other areas, right? So I had issues. Like, that's why I ended up in the hospital and had immediate surgery 48 hours later. So this could be real serious. If it's just a facet joint issue, it's probably not as serious. If there's any disc involvement, you're talking some serious stuff, right? This is probably where it's going to end up going. Being a football player, he has compressed his spine so many times. Just imagine, every time, I don't have anything to demonstrate, but imagine, that this is your back, right? And then every time you compress it, or this is your back, every time you compress it, it just goes every time on that disc. And over time, what's going to happen is it's going to go this way one more time, and then your disc is going to pop out. And then it's going to touch your spinal cord. And that's where you have problems. Big, big, big problems. So I'm a little miffed at this, that Micah Parsons is dealing with a significant back issue. This is significant. This isn't just some back tightness. This isn't just a, muscle strain, muscle spasm. That's how it kind of starts. You get all these muscle spasms. You get back tightness. You can't bend over and tie your shoe type stuff. You feel achy. You get out of bed. You can't move right. Take a shower. You feel a lot better. Man, not good for the Packers. I'm laughing at them inside right now because this is crazy. Reported by Adam Schefter, which, go ahead and read that because I don't have it up.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll try to get it on. I sent it to you.
You sent it to my email?
No, text.
My phone?
Yeah.
Oh, let me just look at it real quick.
All right. So more about the Packers defensive end, Micah Parsons, dealing with an L4, L5 facet joint sprain in his back and possibly receiving an injection before Sunday's game against the Detroit Lions if needed to help him play. And there's Parsons may take an epidural on Sunday just to be able to play in the game. And the first text from Adam Schefter was, the Packers linebacker Parsons has been dealing with an L4, L5 facet joint sprain in his back, and he may take an epidural injection prior to Sunday's game versus the Lions if needed to help him play, per sources. Before trading Parsons last week, the Cowboys prescribed him a 5-day plan of anti-inflammatory corticosteroid, a prednisone to help him recover from back tightness. They also had him on a physical therapy program. Parsons has been practicing this week, and he's trying to play in Sunday's opener versus the Lions, though one source said it's still uncertain if he will play. Now, my question is this: how, when you are trading someone for 2 first-round picks, $188 million, $120 million guaranteed, how do your doctors let that trade go through knowing that issue?
This was I think we talked about it the other day, that this was probably a huge reach to attempt at saving their jobs. If this really turns into a catastrophic issue for them, and Parsons can't play half the season or something because of it, or next year can't suit up, has to go through back surgery or something crazy. Oh my God, the guaranteed money in this, it's insane. They probably didn't even, I'm wondering if they even went out and got an insurance policy, against this contract for injury, like a lot of teams are doing now. Let me read through some anatomy here about this, and then we're going to step off of this and get into something else. But the L4, L5 facet joint sprain, which again, I've never heard anyone call it that. Not to say it doesn't exist. I've just never heard it. It's an injury to one of the small stabilizing joints in your lower back, specifically the facet joint or facet joint between the 4th and 5th lumbar vertebrae. The facet joints are paired. There's synovial joints at the back of the spine, which can fill with synovial fluid as well, which that's where you get all that inflammation from. The L4-5 facet joint is formed by the inferior articular process of the L4 above and the super articular process of the L5 below. They're lined up with smooth cartilage and surrounded by a capsule that produces the lubrication fluid or the lubricating fluid, right? The job of the facet joints is to control bending backward, right? Extension and twisting. So now you understand why I don't twist and I don't play golf the way I used to, right? Prevent excessive spinal motion. They work with the disc in front to stabilize that whole segment of the vertebrae. So what the sprain means is overstretching or tearing of that joint capsule or surrounding ligaments. It's sudden trauma, like a fall, a car accident, awkward lift, in his case, playing football. Repetitive stress, again, playing football. Rapid, forceful rotation of the lower back, again, playing football. Obviously, the symptoms can be a dull ache, lower back dull ache. Pain is worse with leaning backward, twisting, standing for long periods. It may radiate into the buttocks or the upper thighs, called referred pain, but usually not below the knee, unlike sciatica, which can go all the way down, right? Stiffness, especially after inactivity, and muscle spasm around the joint, which is everything that I deal with. I always tell Megan, like, when we're out doing something, like, I can't take a break. It's like I go. I don't stop, because the minute that I stop and sit for 10 minutes, I'm done. I'm done. Can't move the rest of the day. I won't take steroids anymore, because now I've got this stupid steroid myopathy, which when I take steroids, everything falls apart. So I've been on so many steroids in my life. It's like now it's got this reverse, issue going on. So obviously treatment for this: rest, ice, heat, anti-inflammatories. It could grow into a bigger issue. They could really blow up in their face. It'd be interesting to see what happens with this.
And back problems just don't disappear overnight. It doesn't just miraculously get better. Now, listen, I want you to, for a second, everybody, pretend that this didn't happen to the Packers at all. Pretend like this trade didn't go down with the Packers. I want you to pretend in your mind that this trade happened with the Lions. That Brad Holmes pulled off this trade. He got Micah Parsons to put on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, right? Wouldn't we all be persecuting Brad Holmes right now if we found out less than a week before his first game, that he had a problem like this? Oh no, here's another injured player for Brad Holmes. And we would be putting him on the pike. We would literally be persecuting him. We would be calling for his head for him to be fired. Don't you think? Don't you think we would? I think
a lot of fans
upset?
Probably would. Yeah, I think that they would. But
I would be out of my mind.
Yeah, and that's exactly why you don't do stuff like this. There's too much money involved. It's too much risk. And how do we know that? What's his name? Trey Hendrickson isn't dealing with some sort of a back issue, or, and that's the reason why the Bengals really didn't want to give this guy a long-term deal. Obviously the Cowboys didn't want to sign this dude right away, and they definitely didn't want to overpay. And if he was truly dealing with this for a long time, which now it makes sense.
All of last season.
Right.
Last season. He missed games last year. He didn't play against the Lions last year when we played them and beat them 47-9. He was not there. He had back issues last year, and that's why he wasn't playing.
Well, then I don't think it's going to change a whole lot this year.
Yeah.
He's just going to be dealing with some stuff. Fortunately or unfortunately, to however you want to look at it, he's going to be dealing with some stuff. And I think that this is now potentially catastrophic issue. But we'll see. It's a little early. It's a little early in the process, but man,
Yeah.
I just can't believe a GM and the amazing doctors that these guys get to work with. How did you miss this? And we're saying, how did you miss this? Because it was said that the Packers didn't know.
Yeah.
That they didn't know. Wasn't that in the text or the
Said,
Twitter?
Yeah,
post?
it said the Packers apparently the Packers didn't know about this back injury or his back problems when they cleared him for this contract. Apparently. So we'll see. But just how much of a genius does this make Brad Holmes staying away from things like this? I think he's doing a fantastic job. And, you know, there were so many Lions fans that were mad that Parsons went to the Packers instead of going to us. Well, this might just turn out to be the next Herschel Walker trade for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, Herschel Walker, he was traded for 5 players and he was sent to the Minnesota Vikings, and they ended up turning those 5 players into 5 picks instead. They took the 5 picks and they turned it into Troy Aikman. They turned it into, you know, their big 3, their running back, their wide receiver.
Well, Emmitt Smith and
Michael Irving.
And
then they went and got that one defensive player, and the rest was history, man. If you guys have not watched America's Team on Netflix, I implore you to go watch it. It was very neat the way they put that team together, and they won 2 Super Bowls in a row. Then they made it to the playoffs, and then they won another Super Bowl. They could have won 4 or 5 in a row had Jerry just not been so bullheaded and kept Jimmy Johnson around for the whole time. They probably could have won 4 or 5 in a row and been one of the most dominant teams ever in NFL history.
So last year, I guess to talk a little bit about the back issue for him last year too.
Mm-hmm.
It says that he was dealing with the L4-5 issue in 2024 as well during the offseason and the preseason, which caused him to miss a practice time with the Cowboys. So it makes you wonder how much of that was really contributing to some of the games last year. I know he had a high ankle sprain or some sort of ankle sprain last year.
Mm-hmm.
I know he had some lower leg stuff going on. I don't know exactly why he missed the game versus the Lions. I don't think it was the back injury, but
oh, okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're accurate here. Wondering how much of the back is contributing to some of his other issues, you know, health-wise. I do know this. When you have issues in your back and you have nerves that are, you know, getting innervated or, you have a nerve that is getting impacted by a disc, and if that impacts a branch of nerves, like for mine, you can literally trace the sciatica nerve all the way down to the perineal nerve, where I have a lot of issues with my calf. I mean, my calf literally, it just looks like I got worms in my calf all day. That's what it looks like with all the nerves just go like this, fasciculating all day. So it's not fun, but I know that once you have an injury like that, it doesn't go away. It just doesn't go away.
Yeah. According to Draft Sharks, Micah Parsons missed 4 games due to a high ankle sprain during the 2024 season.
Interesting. I wonder if one of those was the Lions. Was he out for 4 games in a row?
Yeah.
Was he?
That's what it looks like.
But I mean, around the time that they played the Lions. I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's take a quick peek at your Detroit Lions headlines today, and then we're going to get into some of the rankings here since we're already up to 8:30 in the morning. If someone could give us, one of the mods, give us an update on likes, that would be helpful. Kind of figure out where we are. By 8:30, we try to get to 75 likes, depending on how many people we have in. 75%. I don't even know how many people we have because I just don't have that.
We got 132 people in. We need 22 more likes. Let's do it. We got 3 minutes. Hurry up, get out, hit that like button, get right back into the chat.
Do us another favor while you're in there. Swipe left again if you're on your phone and see that hype button. Smash the hype button. It's free to you, but it helps us get in front of more Lions fans just like you. That would be super helpful to us if you wouldn't mind, please. That'd be big help.
I don't get a hype button.
You got to swipe left on your, like when you go to enter the chat.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah,
I've
so
tried.
mine I can't hype my own, but
Mine it says listen to YouTube music, open the app, seamlessly switch between video and audio.
yeah, no, they've had this hype button in there, and I don't know how long they're going to beta test it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's already done, but typically if you swipe left where you go to enter the chat, small delay there.
Yeah, there we go.
Then it'll hype up the channel a little bit. So, all right, let's get Motor in here on the Detroit Lions news and rumors for the day.
All right.
Let's see what we have.
Want to do the one that I had lined up?
Go for it. Whatever you want to go.
All right. So this is by Brad Behrman, and he's talking about 5 players who could get their first Pro Bowl for the Lions, and number 1 is going to surprise you. At number 5, Mr. Jack Campbell. After making notable steps in his game last season, particularly in coverage, Campbell is set to step into a leadership role for the Lions defense, which he may not surrender for a while in year 3. Alex Anzalone may surrender the green dot to the team's leading tackler from last season. From when Anzalone was injured in week 11 through the rest of the season, Campbell was an every down player. If he is that kind of role from the start of this season, and he should be, he's going to be a massive tackling machine that would naturally drive some Pro Bowl consideration. What do you think about Jack Campbell getting his first Pro Bowl?
I don't remember who got the Pro Bowl for linebackers last year. And we do know this, that Lions they get screwed every year.
Oh, yeah.
And he played out of his mind, I mean, to a degree. It finished as a top 10 as your second year in the league with what he had to deal with. How did Jack Campbell not make a Pro Bowl last year? He lost everybody around him. He was literally the last guy outside of DJ Reader on that front 7. Tell me how he didn't make a Pro Bowl. He lost Alex Anzalone, right? He lost Malcolm Rodriguez. He lost to Lee McNeil. He lost Derek Barnes. He lost Aiden Hutchinson. He lost Marcus Davenport. I mean, there's just 5 or 6 guys right there.
He was the only linebacker left in the entire room that started the year.
Right. That's nuts. So tell me how he didn't deserve a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
When he was literally a man on an island, without his starting cast around him, and played the way that he did, finishing as a top 10 linebacker in the league last year as a second-year player. Jack Campbell is an absolute stud. So I would hope that he gets an opportunity this year to get into it. Now, last year, obviously, there was, the whole Kirby Joseph thing where, correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys know in the chat, but there were some statements that came out last year that the player vote and the coaches vote was what prohibited Kirby Joseph from making the Pro Bowl. And there was, I think, some coaches that even kind of spoke to that. Like Dan Campbell, you could tell he was pissed about it during one of the press conferences, that he felt for his guy, felt that he deserved it. So I always thought the Pro Bowl had a heavier weight of the fan vote. So apparently there's the fan vote, and then there's the internal vote for the players and the coaches. And Kirby got zapped because, well, some people said he was dirty, right? Some of his hits that took a couple of tight ends out. But if you go back, we've done it. You go back and you watch the plays, there was nothing dirty. Yeah. It was a low hit, yeah, but there was nothing dirty about it. And if you're going to go low, Kirby's got to go lower. He's not going to take your helmet to his chest. I mean, 1, that would be spearing, but 2, why would he do that? You can't arm tackle these dudes. So I think everything he did was fine without going over it again. I remember last year going over the tape with everybody, and I didn't see anything I didn't see anything that was egregious.
All right. So my question in the chat is, do you think Jack Campbell will get a Pro Bowl nod this season? All right. Next up, we have cornerback Terrion Arnold. Arnold was thrown right into the fire in the Lions' man coverage heavy scheme as a rookie last year. And after a penalty-filled start, he performed pretty well. He also benefited from not always going against the opposition's number one wide receiver. That will be different this year, even if newcomer DJ Reed takes some of that responsibility. Arnold needs to transition from playing cleaner coverage to delivering some on-ball production in his second season. He's still looking for his first career interception, and for all the coverage reps he had last year, 10 pass breakups was a little bit underwhelming. If Arnold stands up against opposing wide receiver ones this season and picks off a chunk of passes, Pro Bowl voters will have a hard time ignoring him. Now, I do believe that Terrion Arnold's going to have quite the jump in year 2. He's going to have a very good year this year. Next up, we have offensive tackle, our left tackle, Taylor Decker. Now, if memory serves me right, he was in a Pro Bowl, I think, when Stafford was here, and he went as an alternate. But he has not been voted as a starter for the Pro Bowl yet. So speaking of Pro Bowl voters ignoring someone, Decker makes this list again, despite being one of the most solid left tackles around. To be fair, it's very hard to crack the NFC Pro Bowl team at offensive tackle these days, but Decker's importance to the Lions offensive line will be ratcheted up this year. The Lions will have 3 interior offensive line starters who are new or in new positions come week 1, including Christian Mahogany at the guard spot next to Decker on Jared Goff's blind side. And with the Green Bay Packers making a huge trade for Micah Parsons, there's another top-end edge rusher to contend with in the NFC North.
So I was wrong on the Taylor Decker thing. So his first appearance was this last season.
Oh, was it last year?
This last season, as he was filling in for Penei Sewell when he was sidelined with injury, didn't go to the Pro Bowl. Taylor Decker filled in for him. So I don't see. And maybe there was a previous one, but what it says here is his first appearance was this January.
Oh, really? Nice.
I could have sworn he was an alternate before that.
Me too. He might have just been voted as an alternate and never got to go in. But I could have swore him and Stafford were in together. But that's just me. My brain doesn't always work the right way.
Is what it is, man.
Stats are all scrambled up in this scrambled eggs up here. All right, next up, we got wide receiver Jameson Williams. Now, this kid, I think, is going to get a Pro Bowl nod this year. This is my shot. If I'm calling a shot on a player to get a Pro Bowl this year, it's J-Mo. Williams followed offseason buzz with a breakthrough season in 2024 as he topped 1,001 yards for the first time in his career while finishing second in the league in yards per catch at 17.3. The breakout buzz reached a different pitch this offseason, and the combination of his own growth with the presence of offensive coordinator John Morton may unlock another level for him this year. Williams is not directly in a contract year as the Lions picked up his 5th-year option for 2026. However, he is absolutely looking to prove he is worthy of a significant second deal. And circumstances are aligning for him to become a complete receiver. If big production follows, Pro Bowl consideration would easily come. So I really think J-Mo has the shot this year, and this year he's not going to be missing 2 seasons. This will be his first full season with no distractions, no fluff, no noise. Just go out, get the production, get it done. And then go ahead.
No, you're good. Go.
And number 1 is the person that Will was just talking about, Mr. Kirby Joseph. So Joseph was the most egregious Pro Bowl snub in the league last season. All he did was lead the league with 9 interceptions while being Pro Football Focus's number 1 graded safety with their top coverage grade among all defensive backs at 91.5. He was the number one NFC safety in the fan segment of Pro Bowl voting. So it was the player and coach segment of the voting that cost him a nod. Last season, according to Next Gen Stats, Joseph had the fourth lowest missed tackle rate in the league at 4.7% and a minimum of 80 tackle attempts. His target EPA was negative 53.7, was number one. And Nate Wiggins at negative 28 EPA was second place. So he was 30% better than anyone else. Joseph was a first ballot All-Pro last year, but he didn't get a Pro Bowl. So talk about the biggest Pro Bowl snub of all time. That was it. I hope he gets it this year. And usually what happens is if a player continues on a decent trajectory, when they have a season like last year and they don't get a Pro Bowl, the following year, when they have a season that's almost as good, but not quite as good, that's when they get in. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had the 1,500 yards, didn't get in, but then the next year he had 1,400 yards and he got in. So sometimes it takes you an extra year to get put in. We'll see what happens this year, but I would not be surprised if Kirby Joseph or any of these five guys get their first Pro Bowl this year. So if you guys had to pick one player out of that list I said, so we got Jack Campbell, Terrion Arnold, Taylor Decker, Jameson Williams, and Kirby Joseph. Pick one of those five players to get their first Pro Bowl nod this year. Which one do you think it is?
J-Mo. I think J-Mo will get it. Remember, he's my guy this year.
I'm with you there.
I think J-Mo will get it.
I noticed
at least on the offensive side. On the defensive side, if Kirby just does what he does. Now, was Brian Branch voted to Pro Bowl last year? I don't think he was. So no. I think that this might be the year of the Branch.
Yep.
All right. I think this could be Kirby was last year. This could be the year of the Branch this year. Now that he's in his second season as a full-time safety, I expect him to grow leaps and bounds this year. So I'm going to go Brian Branch on the other side.
All right.
So I'm going to give you guys a quick update on the news that I'm sick of talking about. But I'm just going to do it. Are we really? This is where society is today. Talking about you Detroit Lions. This is where we are today. We're talking about Cash Dow going up on stage, wearing a Zadarius Smith jersey. Of course, it's a Lions jersey. And the headline is, Cash Dow may have just dropped a really big tease for a possible Zadarius Smith return to the Detroit Lions because she went on stage and wore a jersey. Huh. Interesting.
You heard it here first.
Huh? Right? Heard it here first?
Heard it here first.
Jesus criminy. Or when people go on Twitter and someone posts something on Twitter, it's like, oh my God, they're coming to Detroit.
Yeah.
Man. Or because, someone had to fly into the Detroit airport which is a major airport, depending on where you're going up in the upper East Coast or even across the pond. It's a major airport. So, someone has to fly through there. They get spotted and, they're going to be a Detroit Lion today.
Yeah.
I mean, is that where we are in society today? Like, seriously? Unbelievable. Did you guys know the roster's full?
Yep.
Roster's full. Why would Brad Holmes just drop somebody out the roster today?
Practice squad and the roster.
That makes zero sense. You're going into a game. I should have taken bets on this. I should have.
What did you say all along? That if Zadarius does come back, it won't be until after week 1.
Yes. I mean, I apologize that I pay attention and we try to get you guys the right information when everyone else is out there clickbaiting the hell out of you and running these narrative stories. I still try to stick to what makes sense. And I mean, I could do the same, right? We could just run a bunch of videos of clickbait, but it's not going to help, man. It just causes further divide and issues. Let's get into some power rankings quickly. It's 8:42. You guys did get up the likes. I think we're above 90 something right now. Keep on rolling.
90,
Keep on rolling.
93.
Let's break 100. Let's break 100. We'll get those ads off right now. Here we go.
Yeah, 93 is a great year. That's the year I graduated. 93.
Man, you're old, dude.
I know. I'm old as dirt.
You're old.
That's why this thing's all white.
Yeah. All right, let's do it, man. Power rankings. If you guys have not heard, we'll talk a little bit about this tonight too. But I just want to roll through like the top 10. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. At number 1 is your Detroit Lions. At number 2 is your Detroit Lions. At number 3 is your Detroit Lions. At number 4 is your Detroit Lions. At number 5 is your Detroit Lions. No, I'm just kidding. But according to Bleacher Report, now I don't know if theirs are different than, like, did the NFL put out their power rankings yet?
I don't know. Has anybody's put out any power rank? I haven't seen any yet.
Well, they're out. I mean, they're rolling in.
I would guess they have Lions at like 7 or 8.
There we go. Let's get into power
That
rankings
would be my
for the
guess.
NFL. This came out. No, that's way long ago. This isn't accurate. I'm just gonna roll with Bleacher Report for the moment.
Okay.
We'll just see what they got. Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. That's not a surprise. I mean, they're the Super Bowl winner. They of course they're going to be there. Even though they lost a ton of talent, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, Mekhi Becton, Avonte Maddox, which is now a Detroit Lion, by the way. It's nice to see that other articles other writers or national writers are talking about a former player being a big loss for that team. Avonte Maddox is huge. Like, he was a huge pickup. And I don't think that a lot of the local media, a lot of the content creators, including myself, have given him enough justice, because Avonte Maddox is a hell of a football player. He really is. I mean, he's such a versatile piece to that back end of that defense. I don't think we really understand how blessed we are right now with this team, how loaded they are at every position. But to have a guy like Avonte Maddox who just won a Super Bowl and knows what it takes, I think that's the biggest thing. When you start to surround these young guys on the defense, these second and third year players, some fourth and fifth year players, we still have a relatively young team, but it's a team that has been growing together, because it's the draft and develop mentality and re-sign. These guys have been together now their whole career. So when you pluck a guy like Avonte Maddox, who has a wealth of knowledge, knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl, the energy in that room is now, look, man, if we're going to win this thing, just like Dan and John Morton said recently, most specifically John Morton, if you're going to win a Super Bowl, everybody has to have the same mindset. It has to be together, right? Avonte Maddox is going to be able to get these guys, put them under his wing and say, look, man, we can't be doing this, right? Like, we can't go out to dinner tonight, be out till 12 o'clock at night. We can't do that tonight. We got to rest our bodies tonight. We've got to sacrifice everything for the next 6 months. We have to, or 4 months, whatever it is. We have to sacrifice everything. Unfortunately, our families are going to have to understand, right? Your friends are going to have to understand. You need to rest. You need to hit the cold tubs. You need to do your massages. You need to get, to the TENS units. You need to do your therapy. If you want to win a Super Bowl, this is how you do it. This is what worked for us. This should work for you. Get your body right. The most important thing during this season is for these guys to keep their body right. And it's a grind, man. I mean, I've never done it because I'm not a pro athlete, but you understand the process. You can speak to the process even though you've never done it, but you have to be able to rest that body, man. It's key. So, number 1, Eagles. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
Runner up, I guess.
Are they just going by how everybody finished?
I guess. I'm not impressed with that. Number 3, Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, Buffalo Bills. And number 5, your Detroit Lions. This is what they said. You'll have to forgive fans of the Detroit Lions if they aren't sure how to feel entering the season. I don't know about that. I know how to feel. On the one hand, there's still the disappointment of how last year's franchise best 15-2 season ended. On the other hand, there's the fact that outside the defending champion Eagles, the Lions are probably the top contenders to represent the NFC in Super Bowl 60. Right around 60 right this year, right? Mm-hmm. The offense is as loaded as any NFL team or any team in the NFL from front to back. The defense will get back star edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson and added an upgrade at cornerback in DJ Reed. But there is upheaval in the coaching staff this year with a pair of new coordinators, John Morton and Calvin Shepard. Both were internal promotions to maintain continuity, but have big shoes to fill. Well, John Morton wasn't with us last year. Whoever wrote this, he was not with us. He was not an internal. It won't take long to find out if these guys are ready to pick up where they left off last year. The team opens the season at Lambeau West against the Packers in what will be, Lambeau East in what will be Ford Field West, which will be one of the more talked about games of Week 1. That was written by Davenport, just not Marcus.
So I do a lot of posting on social media, and I put that I'm going to Ford Field West on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. No, it's not. It's not at Ford Field. It's at Lambeau. And I'm like, oh my God, you people don't get sarcasm on social media whatsoever.
That's craziness.
Yeah. I wish you could like have your text be in a different color when it's sarcasm. Well,
you just got to write that. You got to write sarcasm. Otherwise they won't get it.
I guess. Jesus. That defeats the purpose though.
So I missed a very important day yesterday. It was the anniversary, 18 years ago yesterday. Do you guys know what happened? I know some of you in the chat do. Do you guys know what happened 18 years ago yesterday? Yes, I'm trolling right now. I absolutely am trolling. But I have a story. So it's a little bit more than just trolling. I have a story. I have a story. Come on, you guys know what happened 18 years ago. At least you diehards know what happened 18 years ago. Okay. I'll give it 30 more seconds or less.
Calvin Johnson didn't show up?
No.
Barry not coming. I was there for that.
Well, it wasn't the 0-16. I don't think it was 0-16.
0-16?
When was that? That was 2008, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 2008. That'd be 17 years.
I can't believe it's been 17 years already.
Yeah.
But you know what? The 0-16 was probably just as bad as this. 18 years ago, I'm living in Banner Elk, North Carolina. I'll take a vowel, please, he says. I'm living in Banner Elk, North Carolina. And if you go out my driveway, big, long, about 2 mile long driveway in the mountains. And if you get out the driveway and you go left, you go to Banner Elk. If you go right, you go to Boone. Each one takes, like, Banner Elk's maybe 15 minutes down the mountain. It's a little bit more of a flatter, drive. Boone is, it's like straight down, you're going down Beach Mountain. And you come into this little town of Boone, bustling little town now. Like that town is blown up to a little college known as Appalachian State University. And there was a special game on
I remember
this Saturday. And I happened to take my little happy ass down there to go watch the game at the stadium that they were airing for all of the Appalachian State University students. So, yes, I have a Michigan plate on my car. That was a Jeep. And so I pull in, and little did they know I wasn't a U of M fan, but I was just there to watch the game. Hey, I could go take this in on a Saturday. Why not? So I left the building site. We were building a 12,000 square foot log home for my mom. And we left. I get down to the game. I pull in, I watch the game, and I couldn't believe what happened at the end, right? How they lost that game on a blocked kick. And I'm leaving. And my car, my Jeep, I'm by myself, is getting all kinds of stuff thrown at it. It's getting like rocked. People are rocking it, pointing, laughing, making fun of me. They didn't know I wasn't a Michigan fan. They had no idea.
Oh, jeez.
But that was my Saturday down there. Now, good group of people, but man, did I get it. So that's my story. No, it wasn't really to troll the game. It was a crazy game. I couldn't believe that the Wolverines lost that game, and it was as close as it was. But memories in football will never cease to die. That's why I love this game so much, because there's so many memories you make, good, bad, indifferent, your team, not your team. I'll go to a game just to watch two other teams play if I get an opportunity, just because I love the game that much. And to take in the atmosphere of a new stadium or new fans that you've never been around, and just kind of watch how they react to things. Like, I've never not gone to a game, wearing a jersey or something. So go to a game not wearing a jersey or some sort of clothing from either team, right? I mean, secretly, yeah, I was there to go watch Michigan hopefully win, right? I was a Northerner. I was the Yankee, right, that they like to call me down there trying to, have some fun. Interesting time. Very, very interesting time back then. All right, so let's get into the rankings, man. I'm going to stop here. Watch. Well, go ahead.
One quick thing before that.
Sure.
The Detroit Lions have named their 2025 captains, and I sent this to Will last night, and we have a really neat surprise on there. So some of these guys are going to be, 4 of them are captains from last year. You have Penei Sewell, Jared Goff, Aiden Hutchinson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But we got 2 new ones this year, Alex Anzalone and Grant Stewart. Grant Stewart's taking over on the special teams portion as a captain for the Detroit Lions.
I thought Alex was a captain last year.
Oh, maybe Alex was. Maybe that's Grant Stewart's the only new one. Grant Stewart's the only new one. That's what it is.
I could have sworn he was a captain last year.
Yeah, he was. I misspoke. It was only one new one this year. But Grant Stewart being a captain in his first year for the special teams, I would have thought it would have been Khalif Raymond because he's been around forever. But Stewart's jumped in and had quite the impact.
There you go. There's your captains. I know it's a terrible look. I just grabbed that off Facebook real quick because I forgot to load it in. Grant Stewart, man, he's got the hair. I think his hair might even be better than Alex Anzalone's.
When he's running around, it is.
Right? Someone said the other day, and I don't remember where I saw this, but I think it was some content creator that I just happened to catch, while you're scrolling through stuff, looking for things.
Mm-hmm.
And he made this comment, and I'm like, oh my God, he's right. He's like, who's that dude? He's pointing at Stewart. He's like, who is this guy with this hair sticking out of his helmet like that? He's like, I'll tell you something. When you see the guys that have the dreads or long hair sticking out of their helmet, there's one thing you already know. They're fast. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, holy shit, he's right. Like, think about all the guys that have this long hair hanging out of their helmet. They're fast. Like, they're really quick at their position, or they're just lightning quick, period. I couldn't believe it, that it really made that much sense. Maybe I need to grow my hair out. Maybe I'll get faster.
His hair literally looks like it's on fire.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so number 6 was Washington Commanders, which I'm surprised. I'm surprised that they were behind the Lions, but then again, maybe I'm not. The Packers at 7? What are people smoking? The Bucks at 8. I would have put the Bucks ahead of them. Rams at 9, and the Chargers at 10. Interesting. So the Broncos are outside the top 10. That's not right. The Texans outside the top 10. I could agree with that. The Bengals, I could agree with that. Steelers at 14. Ain't no way. Now the Steelers are going to have a really tough trench, but outside of that, I'm not impressed. Vikings at 15. Where's the Bears? I just want to see where the Bears are. 20. You gave them too much. You gave them way too much. All right, you ready to get into quarterbacks? We waited long enough. We're right at the 9 o'clock hour. Let me go get my dog. He wants to podcast this morning, so let me go grab him, and then we'll get rolling.
All right.
We'll get rolling with while I grab him, man. Take us into. Oh shoot, I didn't load it up. Hold on. Sorry, I'm failing all over the place today. Too much going on yesterday. We were out shopping, getting all new carpet and paint for the house, and
fun.
No. I no, not fun. It's not. I just no, because I know that I'm going to have a bunch of crap to do. Carpet, not so much, but just all the paint, man. Like,
painting sucks.
Yeah, especially when you have arthritis, it just makes it even that much worse. Here we go. I want to install this new one. Where is it?
Bill Rowland says, I still say Stewart looks like Rory from behind. We got Rory out there playing on the field. Yeah, Rory, the lion, our mascot.
Interesting.
Uh-oh. Attila the Hun says, Eric, we want Bertha. Yeah, I'll have to bring her out here one day. Maybe she can kill a mouse or something.
Okay. I don't even know if this is going to play. All right, well, I guess it did. That looks like the old one. That's not even the right one. All right, well, whatever. Let me go get my pop. Why don't you take us into YOOPERLITES? Oh, you're not even in here. Never mind. See, I told you I was going to fail. I'll be right back.
That's all right. So let's see if we have anything popping for the NFC North right now. I'll see if there's anything new whatsoever out there in NFC Northland. Let's see. Seems every article written anywhere for the Lions or the Bears or the Packers or the Vikings all rotates around Micah Parsons, and it'd be nice to get past that. It's like when the Packers had Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. Everything revolved around those two players on every single game, no matter what team you were talking about. The Packers are attention whores. Yeah, I said it.
All right, let's do this.
Yep.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Unbiased reviews.
Yes.
Is it really unbiased?
Yep, it sure is, because you're going to be surprised. In one of my rankings, I do not have the Lions at number 1.
Just one?
Maybe.
Well, today's just quarterbacks and running backs. So
yep.
Let's just jump right into it. So Unbiased Reviews is an annual or perennial segment on which we dive into each positional group, offense and defense. I know we're kind of up against timing this year. It's a little late in the season to kind of get this done, but now that everything is kind of settled, the 53 is done, and that's really the biggest reason. The 53, as cuts were going down last year and the year before, it was a little easier to kind of see where things were going to line up. But now it's set. So now we can go through the unbiased reviews, and we're going to start with your quarterbacks here in 2025. The segment is this simple. NFC North, where do they rank? Why should they rank where we expect them to be? Last year, I think we did a pretty good job at nailing this stuff. But this year, I got to make sure that we actually save it. So I'm going to try to turn this into a video so we save it. And that way we can go back and see at the end of the season where we finished, how well we did. So let's start with quarterbacks. And I want to start with, I guess I want to jump around a little bit.
Okay.
And And what I mean by that is I want to start with your number 3.
All right. My number 3 is Caleb Williams. His 2024 stats, he had 3,541 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a 62.5% completion rate, 68 sacks. So I asked AI to look at PFF and ESPN and give me something to say about these guys. Williams, his rookie season was a mixed bag. PFF noted that his struggles with accuracy and a low yards per dropback average. However, they also highlighted significant positives, including a strong touchdown to interception ratio and a high PFF grade against the blitz. The 68 sacks he took are a major concern, though a significant portion of the blame likely rests on the offensive line and his tendencies to hold the ball. Now, in my opinion, I think he holds the ball way too long. And the same mistakes he's making as a rookie, he's still making now. That is why you are hearing out of Chicago that Caleb Williams is on a short leash and they will turn to Tyson Bagent if Caleb Williams can't get his stuff together.
So you have Caleb Williams at number 3, and we actually agree. So it's year 2 in the Windy City for Caleb Williams, and is he going to be blown away? Or is he going to be living inside, or I'm sorry, is he going to blow everybody away, or is he going to be living inside of a pressure cooker in Chicago? And I think it's the latter. I think that Caleb Williams is going to have a rough season this year, but I put him at number 3, largely because number 4 is unknown at this point. When the Chicago Bears took Caleb Williams at number 1 overall, I think that the Bears faithful, if you will, thought that a revolution was coming. Like, we're finally going to get a 4,000-yard quarterback. We're finally going to start delivering this team into a perennial playoff team. And they didn't just expect improvement, right, out of the quarterback position. They expected a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Caleb delivered some brilliance at times, some flashes, if you will. But largely, that revolution is going to have to wait. I don't think that Caleb Williams is the answer in Chicago. I don't think he's the long-term answer in Chicago. My little recap here for Caleb last year, you kind of already said the stats, 35-41 in yards, 20 TDs, 6 interceptions, 62.5% completion rate. He has some decent mobility, just under 500 yards. It was 3rd among quarterbacks last season. He has a knack for escaping pressure, which I think is exactly what you were looking for. My only question for Chicago is you just had all that with Justin Fields. And now you went and drafted a quarterback. By all accounts, I don't think a lot of people think he's the answer at all. You probably should have stuck with Caleb Williams, doubled down on those number 1 picks, and went out and secured your defense and still grabbed a receiver is what I would have done. I wouldn't have taken a quarterback. Or something else, but that's not what we're talking about today. My pain points with Caleb Williams, well, it's his pain. 68 sacks last year, the most in the NFL, a product of both a shaky offensive line, but also a quarterback that has a tendency to hold the ball. He has consistency issues. 5 top 6 fantasy finishes, but also 7 games without a passing TD. Matter of fact, I think he began last season without a touchdown pass in the first 4 weeks, was it? He was pretty close to that. Very, very tough games for him. Finished 1-5 in the division. I mean, that's the one area that you have to win games is the division. 1-5 in the division last year. He struggled to sustain drives against any sort of a top defense. And he's got a growth curve, ahead of him this year. Completion percentage, passer rating, it kind of improved a little bit throughout the year, more so in the second half of last season. But so far this year, man, we haven't seen anything out of preseason, or training camp that points to a Caleb Williams that is better than what he is last year. Williams himself called it a great reset after years of dominance at Oklahoma and USC. It was a humbling year for him, is how he refers to it, but one that forced him to adapt. I don't think he adapted at all. Matter of fact, the more and more the season weighing down, I saw a guy that didn't want to get off the turf. He looked just deflated. Every time he took a hit, he looked like he was just crushed. 2025 outlook for Caleb. Look, they went all in. The Bears, they went all in on an offensive line. They tried to surround him with somebody or positions that could help him, in his position, right? Left tackle, all the way to right tackle. They've done something along that offensive line to help him. Center, the left guard, who do they bring in? They brought in Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, and who was the guy from the Chiefs? I forget his name.
Yeah, I forgot his name too.
Either way, they try to level up the offensive line to give him an opportunity to not get sacked as much, but he still has to release the football. He has to make better decisions. They also gave him Ben Johnson. A lot of people think that Ben Johnson is the answer to unlocking Caleb Williams. And I would say that is probably the first mistake. You need a quarterback that is receptive to criticism, a quarterback that is receptive to learning, a quarterback that wants and yearns to get better and learn. I just don't see it out of Caleb. I see a guy that pouts and throws temper tantrums. He's not leading from the front. He's showing the type of body language that you don't want on a team. But he does have some weapons. He does have DJ Moore. He does have Rome Odunze. He just now received Colston Loveland. They also brought in Luther Burden, the third. So they brought in some depth, some versatility, and they have a starting cast that he should have zero excuses about his year this year. Protection, like I said, it was Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, and Jonah Jackson, immediate upgrades over what they had last season. The scheme fit for Caleb Williams. Johnson's offense should, on paper, marry up with what Williams does well into the script of what Ben Johnson is going to put together. The creativity and the in-time or more rhythm throws, if you will, should help Caleb Williams have a better season. The question is he receptive to it? Has he learned it? Is he going to be able to execute? And this year, my projected stats for Caleb Williams is in that 3,800 to 4,000 range, 24 to 26 TDs, 10 to 12 interceptions, 350 plus rush yards, 8 to 9 wins. And that's where I have the Bears this year. I think his ceiling in the NFL is a top 15 quarterback, which is not what you're expecting to get out of a number one, right? You're expecting to get somebody that can live in that top 5, top 6. That is perennially a winner, someone that can get you into the postseason. I don't see that with Caleb Williams. I see the floor for Caleb Williams being another year of growing pains with bad habits and potentially a benching for Tyson Bagent is what I see. So year 1 was about survival for this kid. Year 2 is about proving that he can lead a playoff push, that he can lead a team against one of the toughest divisions in the league. Williams enters 2025 with more help, more structure, and more pressure than ever. For Chicago's season, and perhaps the trajectory of the franchise is going to hinge on whether or not Caleb can blend his Mahomes-like, improvisations with the discipline of a true pocket passer. I have him at number 3 in this year's Unbiased Reviews.
We'll also say the thing about Caleb Williams, wasn't he supposed to be coming into the best situation any rookie quarterback had ever come into last year?
That's exactly what they said.
Yeah. And they've done nothing but improve upon the offensive line, his receivers, and his tight end this year. So he better come out the gate swinging. Otherwise, I think it's going to be Tyler Bagent season.
Could be. Let's go into number 4.
Okay. Number 4 is kind of easy. It's J.J. McCarthy of the Minnesota Vikings, and that's because he has not taken a single pass in the NFL yet. He's essentially a rookie, and McCarthy in 2025 will be a true test. After missing his entire rookie season, he will have to acclimate to the NFL game while competing with a talented roster. He has the potential to be a franchise quarterback, but a rookie season is a huge learning curve. He will likely have some growing pains and will need time to find his rhythm. Expect flashes of brilliance mixed with some of the struggles that are common for a first-year starter. So he has zero stats, nothing. We have not seen anything, but we know that Sam Darnold came in and had one heck of a season with this exact same team. I see JJ McCarthy struggling a bit this year. So, like, I was thinking about it. In this Monday night game to start the season, it's going to be the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know who's going to win that game. I seriously don't, because the Minnesota Vikings have the better defense, but I would think that the Chicago Bears would have the better offense. You know, it's year 2 for Caleb Williams, and he has all the weapons. So I just don't know. I can't even pick a winner in that game between those two teams, just because one has an unproven offense and one has an unproven defense. Well, they both have an unproven offenses, essentially. And both quarterbacks need to put up or shut up and get going right out the gate. But JJ McCarthy, there's not a whole lot to talk about, in my opinion, because we haven't seen him in 2 years since he was at Michigan.
All very true. All very true. There's one thing I forgot to throw in here about Mr. Caleb Williams. And this is some damning information, right? I think that stats tell a lot.
Yeah.
They don't tell a lie, right? They tell a partial truth on everything. You have to look at the game. You have to, stats tell like I always say, they tell a big part of the story, but you have to see everything with your eyes to get the rest of the story. Let's just take a look at his throwing pattern from last year. So Caleb Williams, excuse me. This is Caleb Williams' passer rating versus league average. And what you will see between all three quarterbacks is the reason why the number one quarterback in this year's unbiased ratings or rankings by Rockhound Sports Media is exactly in relation to the passer rating and what they can do on the field. Here's what I see. If Caleb Williams cannot reach the upper, left zone, which you've got the deep shot, you've got the third tier there, which is 10 to 20 yards, and then you have the explosive 20 and beyond, he can't hit anything on the left side, right? He even struggles with the, anything above the line of scrimmage to 10 yards. I mean, he has a decent rating there. And then you look to the far right. He can't hit anything far right down the field. So no explosive plays on the upper left or the upper right. All you need to do is stack the middle on this guy. You stack the middle on Caleb Williams, he's only going to throw it to two spots. That is behind the line of scrimmage or to the right. That's where he likes to throw the football. And so if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm looking at his patterns, which his pattern could be different this year because it's a new offense, new offensive coordinator. I think that what you're going to see is maybe a new throwing zone, but I think that there's a reason why he doesn't throw that way, because he can't. He's not comfortable making those throws. So that's Caleb Williams in a nutshell. Those red lines means that he's worse than the NFL average. So when you average all of the quarterbacks in the league, he's worse than all of them in 3 locations on the field. And he's about on par with 2 of them. And he's a little bit better than average in 7 of them. So that's part of the reason why I'm just not super impressed with the way that he throws the football. Now, could he improve? He absolutely could.
We will see what happens.
All right, number 4, we agree again. And that is JJ McCarthy. Now, simple. This one's is as simple as they get. It's the same reason that you said He's unproven. We just don't know what we have yet in J.J. McCarthy. When Minnesota drafted J.J. McCarthy 10th overall in the 2024 draft, they envisioned a smooth transition from Kirk Cousins into a new era. Instead, they got a torn meniscus in Sam Darnold. In that August, it wiped out his entire rookie season with that meniscus, and it made him the only first-round quarterback since the year 2000 to miss year one due to an injury. I didn't know that stat until last night. Now in 2025, he's stepping into a 14-win team with 0 NFL regular season experience. 0 NFL regular season snaps. And the weight and the expectation that is on his shoulders might be worse than what Caleb Williams is sitting in Chicago. His 2024 season recap is nothing because it didn't exist. But I'll get into some of his skill set, right? His experience at the University of Michigan. He was 27-1 as a starter, the national champions of Asterisk 2023. Elite efficiency, 72.3%. Completion, 9 yards per average in college. His accurate throws on the move are what made some pretty good highlight reels during his time at Michigan, especially rolling to the right. He's poised under pressure, extends plays without panic. However, what I also noticed is in the fourth quarter, they didn't give McCarthy the football. They gave Blake Corum the football. And being somebody that didn't watch every single Michigan game, I can tell you that is a big difference for that quarterback coming into the NFL and having to learn to be trusted, number one, to trust himself, number two, that he can make the plays in the fourth quarter when he's asked to do so. The fact that he didn't get a ton of opportunity to win with his arm is going to be new for him in the NFL. Can he do it? We'll see. We will see. But that is probably one of my biggest weaknesses for J.J. McCarthy to start the season is that his limited ability in the fourth quarter in college. How does that translate to the NFL? All right. I'm not saying that he can't do it. I'm just saying we don't know if he can. He was very limited in high volume passing experience, I guess is where I'm going. He only averaged 22 attempts per game in college, which is very low. Very, very, very. And like I said, the reason why, Blake Corum. So he needs to prove that he can process NFL defenses at full speed. His 2025 outlook, look, the dude's got race cars, for a receiver. He's got Justin Jefferson, arguably one of the fastest, one of the best in the league. Jordan Addison, top 20 wide receiver in the league right now. Pending suspension, he'll be back soon. He's got depth from Brandon Powell and Jalen Naylor. He's got a tight end in TJ Hawkinson, who has world-class experience, maybe a safety valve for JJ, but I'm not so sure that TJ Hawkinson is the tight end that everyone believes he is. He does have Aaron Jones, who had a pretty good season last year, so he does have an outlet valve there too, or another safety valve, if you will, that they can always hand the ball off. The problem is you can't hand the ball off against some of your interdivisional opponents, namely the Detroit Lions, which are not going to allow you to run. So when you can't run the football, what is JJ going to do? How is he going to handle that pressure? In the scheme fit, you have O'Connell's offense that thrives on play action, quick reads, and schemes up some deep shots. It's a perfect match for McCarthy in his mobility and his accuracy. I expect heavy use of Jefferson in isolation and Hawkinson in crossers to simplify his reads. However, when you're able to take away Jefferson, which the Lions have done in multiple games, and Hawkinson in the same game, what is he going to do? So these are the things that we're going to see come alive in real time this year. How is JJ going to be able to navigate these waters? He does have an upgraded offensive line this year. He will get some added, protection, which Sam Darnold did not. The difference is Sam Darnold came with an elite amount of NFL experience And so what he was able to do with this team far and away will exceed what J.J. McCarthy is going to be able to do in his first year. I think the ceiling is much higher for a player like J.J. McCarthy than I think, the player like Caleb Williams. I think that J.J. could end up being a much better quarterback than what Caleb Williams is today. Projected stats for J.J. this year is right in line with Caleb Williams, 3,800 to 4,000, 25-ish TDs, probably 15 to 17 interceptions, and probably only about 350 yards rushing on the ground, 8 to 9 wins. I have the Bears and the Vikings both in that same boat, 8 and 9. The storyline for this kid this year is going to be simple. McCarthy's debut is unprecedented. A second-year quarterback with no rookie reps inheriting a Super Bowl caliber roster. How is he going to perform? The Vikings are betting that O'Connell's quarterback-friendly system and McCarthy's poise will offset his inexperience. If he clicks early, Minnesota could stay atop the NFC North. If not, the drop from Darnold's 2024 production could be steep. And the window for Jefferson in his prime will start to close. What will the Vikings do at that point? That's my take on J.J. McCarthy, and unfortunately, we don't have anything from Next Gen or any of the other statisticians to give you an outlook as far as his passing lanes and things of that nature. So number 4 is J.J. McCarthy. Any final thoughts on that?
Nah, I see we have a lot of University of Michigan fans in the chat. I asked in the chat, who's going to win that Monday night game, the Vikings or the Bears? And we got 100 people saying the Vikings are going to win that game. Everybody's cheering for J.J. McCarthy. It's kind of comical. I am not going to cheer him when he comes to Ford Field. Sorry. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either. As far as rooting for the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know who this Alpha Gridiron 1 is, but I mean, it sounds very familiar to somebody who's usually trolling, but that's a new name in here. Welcome in this morning.
Yep.
I don't know why his first statement would be, looks like the channel blocks people. Number one, I'd ask you, how would you know that? Right? How would you know that unless you had a channel that's been blocked? Right? How would you know that? You wouldn't. You can't see anyone that we blocked, period. But yeah, if people do things that they're not supposed to, then they get blocked. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. Just at a friend's house who got blocked. Well, hey, maybe that friend did some shit they weren't supposed to do, or said some things they weren't supposed to say. Can't help you there. I can't help you there.
So where are we going next? Number 2 or number 1?
Well, I think we're going to have to go. If we go number 2, then we give number 1 away. Right?
Yep.
So if we go number 1, then we know what number 2 is. But what's the better of the, the slippery slope here? I'd say we have to go number 1.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go number 1. And for me, that is Mr. Jared Goff. He put up the most insane numbers of anyone in the NFC North last year, and he was right up there with the best of them. So his 2024 stats, he had 4,629 passing yards, second in the NFL. 37 touchdowns, second in the NFL. 12 interceptions, and a 72.4% completion rate, second in the NFL. So all those numbers are better than anyone else in the division except for the interceptions. Caleb Williams only had 6. All right. Goff continued his strong play under Ben Johnson, posting a career high in touchdowns and yards. PFF highlights his precision and efficiency, noting that he had a low average depth of target, but excelled at generating yards after the catch. Whole bunch of yak for our receivers. And this is a testament to his accuracy and the effectiveness of the Lions' offensive scheme. So that tells me the Lions like to get the ball out quick and get it to their receivers in a perfect target zone where they can take the ball and run with it. Okay. Now, I also asked AI, give me a prediction for 2025. Where do you think these four quarterbacks will land in order in 2025? Well, AI predicted that Caleb Williams is going to be second on my list, that JJ McCarthy was going to be fourth, and none other than Jared Goff in third place. And this is what AI had to say. While Goff had an outstanding 2024 season, his performance is closely tied to the Lions' offensive scheme and the talent around him. A change in offensive coordinator or a decline in health of his supporting cast could impact his numbers. While he's a highly capable quarterback, it's difficult to expect him to maintain his 2024 elite production, and a slight regression to the mean is possible. So that's not what I wrote. That is what good old AI wrote about Jared Goff. They think he's going to be third. I think he's first. I think he's the best in the North, and I think he's going to be that way again. He is a professional. When you go see him at training camp, he's not putting 15 balls on the ground. He's putting 14 of 15 balls right to his receiver, right where they need to be. And you don't see a whole lot of interceptions. You don't see a lot of batted balls. Compared to the other quarterbacks at camp, it was night and day. And I think that Jared Goff is going to have one heck of a season.
Okay. I would agree. So I'm trying to type something real quick.
Okay. And I think that personally, too much is being made out of the new coordinators, both on offense and defense. You know, Morton was here before, helped build the offense back before Ben Johnson was even the coordinator, back when he was the tight ends coach and passing game coordinator. So I don't think we're going to have this big fall off that everyone anticipates, even offense or defense. I think Jared Goff is going to be just fine.
I definitely would agree with that too. All right, so number one. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Just lost my sheet. I hit the thing.
We need that Limp Bizkit song. Just one of those days.
Wow, I just got so many things open. I just hit the wrong thing and I buried it real quick. I got it back. I just had all these little stats things, little stats and things I want to talk about.
Yeah. And even people in the chat are saying, you know, last year the Philadelphia Eagles, they won a Super Bowl with a new offensive coordinator, with Kellen Moore. He was there for one season. He's gone. He's a coach somewhere else. And now the Philadelphia Eagles, for the third or fourth season in a row, have a brand new offensive coordinator. Who has the best odds to win the Super Bowl this year? The Philadelphia Eagles. So it doesn't matter if you get a new offensive coordinator or not, if you get the right coordinator. And I believe that the Lions did.
I think it was a natural progression to go to Morton. I mean, he had the previous experience, you know, with the Lions. Obviously with this offense. I mean, he's one of the orchestrators, you know, he's one of the originals of developing this offense with the Lions back in 2021. I need one more stat in. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. It was also very interesting to see that Morton, people were trying to get Morton from other teams. Denver Broncos wanted to retain him, and the Bears, Ben Johnson, that was his first call for an offensive coordinator, was Johnny Morton, and he didn't get him. The Lions did. And apparently he was walking out of his hotel in Cabo or on some island down in Mexico, and Dan Campbell was on the phone asking him to be the offensive coordinator.
All right, ready now?
Yep.
Ready, here we go. All right, your number one quarterback in the NFC North this year's Unbiased Reviews is none other than Jared Goff. I don't think that this is a news flash. I think that everyone understands and expects right now that Jared Goff is definitely at the tops of the NFC North. And I would say that he is at the tops of probably 4 or 6 or 8 other divisions. That's just me thinking that. But quite honestly, I do believe that Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback. When he arrived in Detroit in 2021, many believe that Jared Goff was a bridge quarterback. Well, that has got to be the longest bridge in history by now. 4 seasons later, he is the face of the franchise that just went 15-2, earned the NFC's number 1 seed for the first time ever, back-to-back division championships, and has a legitimate shot at the Super Bowl this season. In 2024, Goff delivered the most efficient season of his career. And the Lions rewarded him with a long-term commitment just a season ago, unquestioned leader of this team. His stats for 2024, unparalleled to many in the league. 4,629 yards, 37 TDs, 12 interceptions, by which 5 came in one game, a game that he still won. 72.4 completion percentage, 8.6 yards per average per pass, all career highs on efficiency. How about a perfect game against Seattle, going 18 of 18? No other quarterback did that last season. Matter of fact, only 3 quarterbacks have done it in the entire history of the league. His EPA per play last year was 0.16, third in the NFL. His third down completion percentage was first in the NFL. His yards per attempt when blitzed, 5th in the NFL. Explosive plays clocked in 64 times, 2nd in the NFL with balls that flew more than 20 yards in the air. His fantasy points that we don't really care about, he finished 6th last year with 323 points. His signature games last season, although we lost against Buffalo, he pitched 494 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Week 11 versus Jacksonville, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Now, even though they lost in the divisional round to the Washington Commanders after a subpar 3 interception game, well, not the entire loss was on Jared Goff. Matter of fact, like I mentioned a moment ago, going down 5 interceptions, multiple turnovers in the game against the Texans, you saw a quarterback rise above the rest. A quarterback that came in and shook it off and continued to get his team in position to win. And that is why number 16 is the number 1 overall quarterback in the NFC North. He is someone that he will not rest, right? He doesn't give up. He's smart. He knows where to put his guys, and his timing is unparalleled to other quarterbacks in the league as well. His strengths as an elite rhythm passer and top-tier accuracy will carry him from game to game. His exceptional in-play action, and even versus man coverage, one fantasy point per drop back versus man coverage is the best in the NFL. If you want to sit in man, he's going to pick you apart. You want to drop into zone, he's going to hit you underneath. Jared Goff knows how to navigate. He knows how to read a defense. Pre and post snap, Jared is one of the smartest in the game. What blows me away the most about Jared Goff is how calm he is. I've never seen Jared Goff get rattled. Not once. Not when he's under pressure. Not when he's winning football games. He stays even keel throughout the entire game. Now, he's benefited from one of the league's best offensive lines. And you've heard the stories. Well, if it wasn't for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta and Penei Sewell and Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker and all of the other guys on the offense, Jared Goff wouldn't be any good. What about the teams that also have a really good offensive line and their quarterbacks just aren't very good? Every team wants to have the best of the best around them. Jared does. But he doesn't waste that opportunity. He uses that opportunity and continues to win in Detroit. Jared does have some weaknesses. We know that. we labeled him last year as the broken-legged giraffe, or as Eric likes to call him, the baby giraffe. He does have limited mobility. He does look a little bit clunky when he does run. That's part of being in a 6'5" frame. A little bit long, a little bit lanky. He's not a threat to extend plays with his legs. But my quarterback, 1.6, got us first down after first down with his legs last year when needed. And that's the point, when needed. He doesn't do things that are not needed. He does exactly what he's supposed to do on every play. Is he dependent upon the offensive line health? What I've heard over and over and over again, that Jared is not a good quarterback without an elite offensive line? How about in 2023 when we had more than 12 different offensive line formations? Or 2022, we had more than 10. Even last year, we had several different offensive line formations. What has Jared Goff done every single game? Win. Win. He doesn't let these things affect him. He's got a new offensive he has a new offensive coordinator in John Morton. Many around the league, all the pundits, everybody with a voice, thinks that Jared Goff is going to struggle this season. What happened with Anthony Lynn? Jared Goff struggled in 2021 with the rest of the team because he didn't have any weapons around him. Anthony Lynn was gone the next year. How did Jared Goff respond to having Dan Campbell call plays and then Ben Johnson call plays? Did you guys all forget that he's had three offensive coordinators throughout his time in Detroit now? And how has he responded to that? Has he not been better every single time? Why would you think that this would change? Why would he regress when he's done nothing but get better at every moment, at every stage, with every offensive coordinator calling the plays? I just don't know where these narratives come from. I think that, people talk, but they just don't live in reality. They don't look at the hard lines that are already preset for Jared Goff. Continuity is one of them. Scheme is another. Continuity. Jared has been with the same team now since 2021. Largely the same offensive line. Yes, we lost Frank Ragnow. But we've had pieces moving in and out of that offensive line in every year. The continuity is there with the receivers and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams entering his third year. But I don't think that changes anything for Jared Goff. I think it's just going to help this team get better in 2025. Morton is expected to keep the core concepts for Jared Goff, which tells me he's going to be able to do the things that he's been doing, which is, how about your red zone efficiency? The red zone efficiency for Jared Goff was tops in the league last year. Again, his third down completion was first in the NFL. The red zone efficiency for Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions last season. Where did I put it? I was on a roll there. I don't know where I put it. I think he was third. Here we go. Red zone efficiency for Jared Goff last year, 68%. Red zone touchdown rate, 68%. Top 3 in the NFL. Again, his third down conversion percentage, 48%, first in the NFL. He only took 31 sacks last season. But get this, we talk about pressure. And when Jared Goff has to get rid of the football, he's one of the best to do it. His time to throw average last season, 2.63 seconds. One of the best stats in the NFL, which tells me, go ahead and pressure him. He's going to get the ball out. When the offensive line is giving up too much pressure, he deals with it in the only way that he knows how. He puts the guys in the right position to win. He makes the read faster. He finds the open man. How about hitting 10 different players in one game to catch a pass? That tells you how elite he is at finding the open man. And Jared Goff is not afraid of throwing that ball in the dirt if he has to. He's not going to take an empty sack. He's not going to turn the ball over if he can avoid it. You can try to compare Jared Goff to anybody else in the league, and I don't think that there's a quarterback out there right now that does what he does. There's a couple of really good quarterbacks that do different things. But Jared Goff as a true pocket passer in the NFL, which is kind of a dying breed. You don't see a lot of pocket passers the way that he is, in today's NFL. He is the best, in my opinion. Jared Goff is number one in the NFC North, and I do believe that he is a top 5 in the NFL. His metrics says that he is. His stats says that he is. His playoff experience, he's got one of the best in the league. Next to Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff has probably the most playoff and Super Bowl experience out of all the quarterbacks today. Goff's efficiency, his elite efficiency metrics, his best on third down, red zone quarterback, low sack rate, despite deep passing volume. That is something that I don't think a lot of people think about too. He's not only getting the ball out in 2.63 seconds, but he's also hitting so many guys deep downfield. The 64 explosive pass plays last season tells you that. Jared Goff is just a steady hand. I think he's dangerous. I think he's risky when he has to be. But I also know that Jared throws one of the tightest balls in the tightest windows that I've seen in a long time. And again, his tight window throws is tops of the league too. Let's take a look at his passing chart. And you're going to see a major difference here. We took a look at Caleb Williams before. There was a lot of red. You don't see any red for Jared Goff. Jared can hit you anywhere. He can hit all 3 deep shots where he's near the league average. Look at straight down the middle, 95.8. League average looks to be 93.1 or 83.1. I can't really tell. League average in the deep right, 95.8. I think Jared Goff's an 80.2. League average in the top left, 62.3, 79.2. Jared Goff across the middle, where he loves to throw the football. And he's crushing it. 102.6, mid left, center, 116.3, where Amon-Ra St. Brown just lives, and 89.6 on the right. If you need 0 to 10 yards, Jared Goff's your man. He's crushing the league at 133.3 on the left, 107 in the middle, and 133.7 on the right. If you need something behind the line of scrimmage, he can do that too. There's nothing that Jared Goff can do. The last thing I'll say is this. To say that Jared Goff doesn't have an arm, that Jared Goff can't throw the deep ball, I think those people are starting to eat their words. Jared Goff is one of the best in the league. And you've already seen it this year in practice. If you were there, how many deep shots that Jared Goff is throwing this year, it's going to be a different kind of a season. This is the year for the Super Bowl. I think that Jared Goff could bring this team there. He is number one in the NFC North. All right, let's get into the second one, which I'm surprised that we've nailed all these together. Last year, we were way far apart. You would never put a Packer anywhere but fourth. You've grown, Eric.
Yeah, a little bit.
You've grown. You've matured. You and J-Mo are on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, but you haven't seen my other rankings yet. And just to warn you, I do have to be off right at 10 today because I have to be in the shop. So we're going to get through the quarterbacks. We're not going to be able to do the running backs today. So maybe tomorrow we jump right into the rankings. And
we'll do
any news,
we'll jump right in tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'll do that at the end if we have anything else. So my number 2 is none other than the Packers, Mr. Jordan Love.
Oh, wait, I forgot one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You're good enough for Detroit. I couldn't say the F word, but anyway, you're good enough for Detroit, buddy. You're good enough for the
Detroit.
entire league. There's not one team that wouldn't want this guy on their team right now. If their quarterback was down, right, outside of Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, and, you take the top 5-6 quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, if they didn't have those quarterbacks, I guarantee you they would take Jared Goff in a heartbeat. Guarantee you. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
I wouldn't trade Jared Goff for 2 firsts and a player.
I would at some point. And matter of fact, let's stick on Jared Goff for just a quick moment. I've got a knee-jerk reaction to something.
Sure.
One, I'd like to know how everyone felt about my little sermon of Jared Goff. I probably could have polished it up a little bit better, but Jared Goff, when you see these backloaded contracts, that's typically when teams try to get rid of the player, right? You have a lot of money. Like Jared Goff's contract starts next year. It's like $70 million. So you don't really see a backloading going on with his deal, which tells me Jared's going to be sticking around for a while. As long as he continues to do what he's doing, even if let's say the Lions don't win a Super Bowl this year or next year, would you ever move off of a quarterback that is playing this well?
Well, no, he's only going to be 30 or 31 this season. So look at Rodgers, look at Flacco. Flacco's a perfect example. He's a pocket passer. He's over 40. He's got another 10 years in him. Goff does. I think Goff could play for another 10 years just because of the type of quarterback that he is. He doesn't take a lot of hits.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't. He definitely doesn't. All right, go ahead. Get into your number 2. So number 2 on the unbiased reviews for your NFC North quarterbacks this year.
All right. This year, I have Jordan Love as number 2. In 2024, Jordan Love had 3,389 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a 63.1% completion rate. So compare that to Goff's 72.4. You see there's quite a big difference. Love built on his strong 2023 season, demonstrating an ability to lead the Packers offense to a strong record, 11-6. While his overall yardage was less than Goff's, his PFF grades and passer ratings remained strong, showcasing his continued development and a high level of efficiency. He has proven to be an effective and reliable quarterback. Now, if you guys remember earlier, I've been asking AI to predict what they're going to do and how these guys are going to land in 2025. So AI predicts that Jordan Love is going to be number 1, Caleb Williams number 2, Jared Goff number 3, and JJ McCarthy number 4, if you can believe that. So this is what they have to say about Jordan Love. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Love's stock is on the rise. He's a proven starter with a solid track record and a great rapport with his young receiving core. With another year in the offense, he has a very good chance to take the top spot in the division. He's a smart, efficient passer who will only get better, looking for him to potentially surpass Goff in some key statistical categories as he continues to ascend. I just don't know. That was hard to read. That's like stabbing me in the heart to say something nice about Jordan Love, but I don't necessarily agree with the AI prediction for this year. I think once again, Love is going to come up in second in the division. Now, I would have put Jordan Love all the way down in 4th place if I knew what Caleb Williams or JJ McCarthy were going to turn out to be. I think both of them have the potential to be better than Jordan Love, but it's going to take a year or 2 for each of those to get there. I do think that by year 3 or year 4, because this is what, year 4 for Jordan Love? By the time
I think it's year 3, is it?
Is it year 3? Well, he sat for a few years, or a year or 2, because
yeah, but we're talking like
Aaron Rodgers was around.
When did he start? When did he become the starter?
Starting. So this is his
I
third.
have it written in my thing. I want to say it was 23.
So this would be his third season, I believe.
Third season this year.
Yeah,
starting.
so third starter season. So you take Jordan Love, his third season, what he does in his third season. I will say that both Caleb Williams and JJ McCarthy in their third seasons will have better statistics than Jordan Love does in his third season.
Really?
That's my bold prediction. Both of them will have better.
Let me get Jordan Love. Hold up.
Because in Jordan Love's been injured in both of his seasons. He's missed games in both of his seasons. Had some very, very poor decision making in both of his seasons. His wide receivers like to drop every ball that's thrown their way. And I don't see Jordan Love taking over that spot from Jared Goff. And the only reason he gets number 2 in my rankings is because Caleb Williams and JJ McCarthy are totally unproven.
Okay. Here we go. All right. I got it dialed up now. I'll bring it in here at the end. We'll look at his passing chart too. So Jordan Love, number 2 on this year's Unbiased rankings. I don't think that this is really any surprise. Caleb Williams at number 3 and JJ McCarthy, the unproven second-year rookie, at number 4. Jordan Love, man, when he took over for Aaron Rodgers in 2023, he silenced the doubters almost immediately and then struggled. And then he came back and had this like blistering surge at the second half of the season in 2023, where then everyone started ranking Jordan Love above Jared Goff, and Jordan Love was like the next greatest thing since sliced bread to happen in Green Bay. And then Green Bay's 30-plus years of quarterback play was going to continue with Jordan Love, their third starter in as many seasons. But in 2024, after the playoff upset in Dallas, the Packers shifted their offensive identity. Love's numbers took a hit. And now entering his third and full season as a starter, Love is at a crossroads. Can he be more than a steady hand in Matt LaFleur's run-first system? Or will Green Bay's conservative approach cap his ceiling? Now, Jordan Love is kind of up against it to start the year with a wide receiver room that is, well, pretty banged up. Missing a lot of guys due to injury. You've got a rookie in Matthew Golden. We'll see what happens. But he's not going to start the season off with a full complementary room of weapons, if you will. Taking a look back at last season, or even going back to 2023, Jordan Love started out with 4,159 pass yards in his first full-time year as a starter. 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, took 30 sacks. 96.1 passer rating, 62.9 QBR. Completion percentage at 64.2%, which is right around league average. Pretty damn good year for a guy getting his first run. But then, like I said, in the second year, his numbers took a hit. 3,389 yards, 25 TDs, still 11 interceptions, only took 14 sacks, which is extremely low for a quarterback. 96.7 rating, 66.3 QBR. But his completion percentage dropped by a whole point, 63.1%. When you look at his time to throw, 2.78 seconds, a full tenth of a second longer than Jared Goff. Mid to high range, he favors deeper routes. Sacks, like I said, 14 in 2024, one of the lowest totals in the league. His third down conversion rate, 41%, 14th in the NFL, so kind of middle of the pack. His red zone TD rate, just 56%. Again, 12th in the NFL, in the top third of the league for quarterbacks. Playoff record, he lost a wild card at Philadelphia. No TDs, 3 interceptions. He is now career 1-2 in the postseason. The offensive philosophy shift last year with, Josh Jacobs hitting the backfield, Green Bay led the NFL in neutral script run plays, 55%, and played at the 9th slowest pace compared to the rest of the league. But why is Jordan Love maybe a good quarterback? Deep ball mastery, leads the league in completions of 20-plus yards over the last 2 years, can stretch the field and punish single high looks, low sack rate, quick processor when protection holds, rarely takes drive-killing losses, system comfort, 3 years in LaFleur's offense, maybe he now knows the scheme inside and out, and ball security has been pretty good for Jordan Love. 11 interceptions and 425 attempts is very respectable for a quarterback pushing the ball downfield like he likes to do. He's poised. He doesn't get rattled. He maintains mechanics under pressure most of the time. But when he does get a ton of pressure from different angles, Jordan Love cracks. But he doesn't crack as much as Caleb Williams, and that's why I have him at number 2. He isn't elite yet and maybe never. Limited mobility. Only 83 rushing yards in 2024. Inconsistency versus top defenses. He's scheme dependent. His volume is capped with philosophy. I think for this year in his 2025 outlook, is this still a top 5 pass pro unit? Maybe. Will it protect Jordan Love? Possibly. His receivers are hurt. His running back's decent. He's got a good one in Josh Jacobs. But how much of what the Packers just did on the other side of the football is going to leak over to the offense? Is Jordan Love going to get more opportunity with the football this year? And if he does, then we could see maybe Jordan Love take a bigger step. But as long as Jared Goff is still in this league, he will always be number 1 in the NFC North. Jordan Love, number 2.
I got to fly, so I will see all you guys tomorrow. We'll do the running backs and stuff tomorrow.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. All right, let's pull in Jordan Love's passer lane here, or passing lane. It's very, very, very similar to Jared Goff. Where you see Jared Goff's, here, let me pull up Jared's too. Very, very similar, right? So deep downfield stuff, Jared's all yellow. Jordan Love hits a little bit better in the center stretch. Jordan Love struggles to the short right behind the line of scrimmage. Jared Goff doesn't. Jared likes to paint the field to the left a little bit more. Jordan Love a little bit more to the right. It's almost a mirror image where you see that Jared throws left, Jordan throws right. It's not a bad passing lane. So when I take a look at these, these metrics for these quarterbacks, it's undeniable as to why Jordan Love is the second best quarterback in the NFC North. But I think that there's a deep divide here with the rest of the quarterbacks in the league, where I would have Jordan Love probably outside the top 10 for quarterbacks in the league. He might be number 2 in the North, but he's definitely outside the top 10 in the rest of the league. I mean, it's not even close when you compare him. Now, he's a deep ball dealer. That's what Jordan Love loves to do. He's got great arm talent. He has good vertical accuracy. And to be one of the NFL's most dangerous passers, he could be, right? If he's got a really good complement of wide receivers that are healthy, and the way that he pushes the ball downfield and LaFleur's aggressiveness, Jordan Love could grow into what I call the deep ball dealer. Man, he has the ability with that arm. I mean, there's no kidding with his arm. He's got a good arm. But it's the rest of it that I would worry about. My projection for Jordan Love this year, 42 plus 100 yards, 28 TDs, 13 to 15 interceptions. I have the Packers going 10-7 this year, finishing second in the NFC North. I think that his ceiling is a top 10 quarterback. Like I've said multiple times, I think his floor would be mid-tier starter whose numbers are just kind of capped by, pace and run rate. They run a very slow offense. They try to eat a lot of time off the clock. So his stats may never rise to the likes of Jared Goff or others, that are passing the ball a lot, being more efficient. The Lions try to be very efficient with the football, whereas the Packers slow it down a little bit. Yeah, I would agree there. I mean, he is horrible under pressure. It just depends on where the pressure's coming from. I see Jordan Love do good in certain situations and terrible in other situations. When the pressure's coming right at his face, that's when Jordan Love is the worst. And when it's coming from the right or the left, Jordan Love has enough mobility to kind of get away from it, extend the play, and at least deliver the ball somewhere, whether it's out of bounds or, towards a receiver. It's that pressure in his face that Jordan Love really struggles with. And I think a lot of quarterbacks struggle with it, but there's one guy that doesn't, and that's Jared Goff. That dude sticks in that pocket, man. And maybe it's a detriment, to his ability, but Jared Goff will stick in that pocket and try to deliver that ball if it's the last thing that he does. It's a good and a bad trait. Sometimes I'd like to see him move a little bit, but he knows if he moves, he opens himself up to what's coming on the other side. Oh, I like that statement, Jay-Z. It says, Jordan Love throws a bunch of YOLO balls like Favre and Rodgers before him. The you only live once ball. Todd Budry says he hasn't seen at least half of our D-line starters in a while. Man, it's going to be fun to watch this year. Got a new name in the house. Mega Hustler 313 says Kirby Joseph always picks off Love. Who hasn't Kirby picked off, right? I think he's going to have a fun year this year. But I think I'm going to give the crown to Branch. Like I said earlier, I think that Brian Branch, we're going to have the rise of the Branch this year. So that's it on quarterbacks. I know it went kind of long. I'll break these down a little bit, put them into videos later so we can, slim it up a little bit. I started doing some cut-ups yesterday. I found some really good nuggets of Dan Campbell's presser yesterday. It was kind of funny. Oh, man, my eyes are tired. Let me see if I can find it real quick. You might get a kick out of this. So I'm screwing with Dan, but just leave it at that. I'm screwing with Dan. I'm having fun with it. I'm not done with it. And you'll see when I'm done, but let me throw this up there. I think this is the beginning part anyway. Yeah, this is probably something that you would see out of a different content creator, like a faux, rival content creator making stuff up like this. I'm just using it to have some fun. As soon as I can get it in here, hold on. It was really about the whole Jordan or the Micah Parsons thing yesterday during the press conference. I'm gonna have to fix this when I get it in, so you won't hear any audio. But let me fix it, and then I'll play it.
How does the addition of Micah
it
change
right.
just the way you look at what they bring defensively?
We haven't talked about any of that. We'll have
right.
a plan.
Does that change?
Let me just add some audio to it. Okay, here we go.
Does the addition of Micah change just the way you look at what they bring defensively?
We haven't talked about any of that. We'll have a plan.
Does that change the preparation or mindset, if any?
We'll have a plan.
How much of a better sense do you have of, Green Bay's defensive scheme?
We'll have our eyes on that. You always got to be prepared for those.
Just screwing around with them. Let me play it again.
How does the addition of Micah change just the way you look at what they bring defensively?
We haven't talked about any of that. We'll have a plan.
Does that change the preparation or mindset, if any?
We'll have a plan.
How much of a better sense do you have of, Green Bay's defensive scheme?
We'll have our eyes on that. You always got to be prepared for those.
Oh, I can't wait till I'm done with it, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be funny. The whole I have a plan. Oh, that's gonna be a soundbite of the year, I think. Or we haven't talked about any of that. So every week, when the media asks some questions about the other team, expect a video that comes out if I have time. Kind of just being funny. We'll see where it goes. Anyway, that's it. Tomorrow we get into running backs, and then closer. Riley was supposed to be back today. I don't know. He probably forgot. He probably slept in. So we'll see him back at some point, hopefully this week. But tomorrow is Wednesday, right? So tomorrow at 9:00, Timothy Brandon should be on tomorrow at 9. And he's going to give us his annual dose of Detroit Lions and what he thinks about the team. And then on Thursday, all 22 will be in with video this time for the first time ever. We'll have all 22 in with some video. That's the plan anyway. And he's going to give us his full breakdown of the Lions this year and what he thinks offensive, defensive. Matter of fact, my questions were kind of simple because it's really not that difficult. I asked him about the offensive overhaul, the defense outlook, the rookie review, and his all 22 predictions or his final thoughts kind of headed into week 1 here and what he thinks about, how this Lions team has changed. So if you guys have not subscribed or watched anything on all 22 films, make sure you go find him on YouTube here. And he does a lot of good cut-ups, a lot of good stuff, good teachings. You learn a lot if you watch his stuff. So always good to have someone in that's a coach, right? That knows what he's talking about and can give us some higher level overviews on his thoughts. So we're looking forward to both of those interviews this week. And crossover this week, I think that we're going on a different channel on the 6th. And I'm not sure who we're having in for the Packers yet. But I think we're going on a Packers channel on the 6th. So anyway, we'll get into all that more tomorrow. And running backs right away to start the day, unless we get some sort of breaking news. You guys have a wonderful day. Go check out 313 Threads. We'll have some new stuff popping up in the store soon. Of course, this is the year that we do raffles and giveaways. They begin. So week 1, head over to buymeacoffee.com/rocked on. We have jersey raffles. You can buy a Rocked On jersey if you want one, but it's the jersey raffles that we're going to do every week, every month, throughout the year. Once we hit that threshold, then we will start to give stuff away and hold the raffles. I've got to get one more person for today promoted. I just have to find him in the chat. Add a new mod this morning. If this individual wants to accept the nomination, the mod crew did a couple of nominations this week. And just because your name is not nominated doesn't mean that you don't have a chance if you even want to be part of it. It's just, this is what the mods came up with this week. Kevin Barr, do I see you in here? Kevin Barr, are you still in here? And welcome to all the new members, all the new subscribers. We've had quite a few this week. I appreciate you guys getting in here and being part of it. If you have only been around for a little bit, here's what you can expect. Real, raw, uncut, unapologetic information, right? We're not going to be super negative, but we'll give you the facts. We'll have good opinions and conversations surrounding the facts. Yeah, paging Mr. Barr, are you around? And that's just how I operate, man. Ever since we started this thing, it's always been the truth, the transparency, and the honest takes. That's how we want to deliver media and deliver our opinions. The goal is, full-fledged media at some point, but it'll never change. Independent media is so important in today's landscape. Independent media is probably growing into some of the largest channels on YouTube. There's some really, really big independent media channels out there. And whether it's sports or not, like there's some giant ones out there. Having people that don't have to listen to somebody, right? That you don't have anybody to answer to. You can do whatever you want, however you want to do it. I think that's the most important part of media today. I guess Kevin Barr must have disappeared. Is he in the chat too? Oh my God. What is he saying? Kevin Barr says, I just saw one of his chats. I hear that Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby are both getting traded to the Lions for a 2026 fifth and a 2027 sixth round picks. Who said that? Okay. All right. Yeah, both of them. And where are we putting Aiden? What plane is he going on? Attila, are you local? And yes, we would love to have that. Like, I can get credentials to NFL stuff. So if you ever do want to shoot a game, I just have to get it approved. Oh, so you're not far then. Yeah, that'd be fun, man. Eric's got a ton of equipment too that, he and I probably both don't really know how to use. But I'd love to do it. Love to do it. Matter of fact, you should come over to some of the tailgates when we do some tailgates. The goal is to try to have a tailgate for the Bears game. We'll see how that goes. I know the first one's going to be tight because it's a 1:00, and I still don't have a spot picked out. And it being the first game of the season, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I don't see Derek Barr in here. All right. Anyway, any final questions to kind of end the day, to kind of go through? What are you guys looking forward to this week? What kind of information would you like this week? Obviously, we're going to be doing preview show, pregame breakdown, which is what I started a long time ago. The pregame breakdown, it goes deep. It goes real deep. And then post-game show has totally changed this year. Order UVM it's as soon as I get this darn thing tested today, we'll be able to take phone calls again. I'm gonna test it pretty much right when we get off today. I'm gonna get it handled. How many sacks for Derek Barnes? Man, that's a tough one, Brent. That's a tough one because we only got 3 games out of him last year. And with Calvin Shepard being a new coordinator, even though you guys have heard me, you think, I think based on the way that Calvin has designed this defense based on what we've seen already, which is limited. Let's be honest. It's limited. They're not going to show us everything. I do believe the linebackers are going to be a focal point for getting sacks or providing pressure. So last year, you know, I mean, we had to manufacture pressure because we lost everybody. It wasn't that we needed defensive ends. No, we needed every position because we lost everybody. But where were we manufacturing pressure from? The linebackers. So there's a difference between manufacturing and elevating, I believe. Manufacturing is you don't have anybody else. We're going to use what we do have. Elevating means you're starting with a full cast of starters. How do we elevate our pressure to come from a different direction or come from a different area than in seasons past? How can we do something different to throw off the other team, right? They're expecting Aiden and Marcus. Well, maybe they're not expecting Jack. Maybe they're not expecting Derek all the time. Maybe they're not expecting Anzo or Amik, right? And so I think that the elevation this year is going to be the linebackers getting more opportunity. And the players that I believe that's going to come from is Jack, Grant Stewart. I think those are going to be the primary players that are going to get in on some action, and Derek Barnes. I think Derek Barnes will too, to a lesser degree, because he's so needed in coverage. But then again, if you roll Amik to his side or Brian Branch down on his side, expect Derek Barnes to go. And that's a great question for, I'm going to send it to all 22 right now. That is a great question for him. He will be able to explain it far better than I can. Did Derek ever make it back in? All right. We'll have to wait for tomorrow. Kevin Parr, tomorrow we'll try to get you elevated, but I want to make sure he's in when we do this. So, all right, tomorrow we'll see you guys. Tonight, off the cuff, probably 7 o'clock. Probably 7 o'clock, I think. I'll try to go earlier if I can. 6:37 is the goal. We got a long week. I got a lot left to do. So you guys are great. Tap that like button on the way out. Make sure you subscribe. Remember, this is the No BS channel. We're not going to give you a bunch of clickbait. We're just going to have fun. We're natural, you know, in the way that we talk about the team. We're not fake, right? I know that some channels just do a ton of fan work, like audience work, right? We used to, and I kind of got away from that doing the podcast stuff in the morning show. It's kind of hard to maintain that, but I want to go back to the dedicated show that I used to do every week, which is all about the fan. And that is the Gripes and Hype on Thursday nights, which will probably rotate to Wednesday nights now that Thursday Night Football is here. So it'll probably rotate to Wednesday nights, and then Tuesday nights might have to back up. Yeah, maybe I can leave it in play. We'll see. I'll put the new schedule out today. But Wednesday nights will probably end up being Gripes and Hype, which is open up the phone lines. You guys can air it out. So mailbag@rockdown.com. Lock it in. I'm going to try to get the phone number changed today. But 313-312-0348. Lock that in for right now. We'll see you guys tonight and tomorrow. Take care. Have a good day. Where is it at? You know I forgot to move everything back. Here we go.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.